Good day, everyone. My name is Yong Siyuan. Now, I would like to present my research report. My research explores how different features of conventional user interfaces influence user retention on software as a service platforms, focusing on the psychological pathways defined by the SOR model. I will explain my research in 9 parts. Here's my contents. Let's start with the research background section. Software as a service platforms have grown rapidly in recent years, with the global market expected to reach over 1.2 trillion by 2032. But as more users come in, many companies struggle to keep them. Studies show that improving customer retention by just 5% can increase profits by up to 95%. To tackle this, many platforms are turning to conventional user interface, like chatbot or voice assistant, which make interaction feel more natural and human. This smoother, more engaging experience helps build trust and keep user coming back. Let's move on to the question and objective. In my research, I wanted to explore if CUI experience influence users' feelings like trust, ease of use, and satisfaction, and whether those feelings affect their decision to stay on the platform. So far, research hasn't fully explored this, especially the link between specific CUI features, psychological, experiential perceptions, and their retention intention. That's what my study aims to uncover. In this research, I used SOR model to understand how CUI experience affects user retention. In my model, the four CUI features functional usability, responsibility, language naturalness, and the system trustworthiness art as the stimulus. The psychological experiential perception is the organism and the response is the customer retention intention. I'm examining both the direct effects of these features on retention and their indirect effects through psychological perception to better understand how users decide whether to keep using a SaaS platform. Here are the hypotheses based on the SOR model. H1A to H1D test the direct impact of CUI features on customer retention intention. That's the stimulus to response path. H2A to H2D explore how these CUI features influence users' psychological experiential perception, which reflects the stimulus to organism relationship, and H3A to H3D examine the mediating role of psychological perception connecting CUI features to retention intentions through user experience, which reflects the four stimulus organism response paths. Let's move on to the research method. Firstly, I collected 455 valid responses through an online survey. Then I tracked for missing values, since all items use a 5-point Likert scale. Not outliers need to be removed. I reviewed the basic information of the respondents and test data reliability and validity. Finally, I used structural equation modeling to test both the direct and indirect effects between CUI features, user perception, and retention. Let's move on to the reliability and the validity analysis. For reliability, we can say that the overall alpha value is above zero point 0.9 and each subdimension is above zero point 0.8. This means the items in the questionnaire are consistent and stable. For validity, all KMO values are above zero point 0.8 and the results of Butler's tests are significant. It shows the data is suitable for factor analysis and the overall validity is good. This provides a reliable basis for path relationship analysis. Now let's look at the direct path analysis. The diagram on the left shows the SEM path model, and the table on the right shows the test results. In the H1 path, all four CUI features functional, usability, response quality, language naturalness, and system trustworthiness have significant positive effects on customer retention intention. In the H2 pass, all four features also significantly influence psychological experiential perception. This means CUI design not only shapes psychological experiential perception to state, but also plays a crucial role in shaping their emotional and psychological engagement with the system. In short, good CUI interaction can drive both how users feel and whether they choose to continue using the platform. In the mediation analysis, I examine all four S3 paths using indirect, direct, and total effect tests. For the paths from functional usability to retention via psychological perception, the indirect effect is significant, but the direct and total effect was marginally significant. So, H3A doesn't form a clear mediation. However, the other three paths response quality, language naturalness, and system trustworthiness all showed significant direct and indirect effects, indicating partial mediation. To sum up, all direct paths in the model were significant, showing that key CUI features have a strong impact on user retention. System trustworthiness had the greatest impact, followed by response quality and language naturalness. In terms of mediation, these three features also shows the significant indirect effects through psychological perception. Only the mediation effect of functional usability was marginal. Based on this, I suggest that SaaS platforms focus not just on functions or pricing, but on building emotional trust and delivering a smoother, more natural CUI experience to strengthen user relationships and drive long-term retention. This is all the content of my report. Thank you for watching.